So the platform is shaped to be as a frictionless experience as possible. So as we're looking at here is setting up a new project where you pick your site, and the whole basis of Spacio is that you should be up and running within a couple of minutes. So you get your automatic import of all your contextual data, your terrain, your site, and orthographic photos, and so on. So the platform is currently connecting to OpenStreetMaps and Mapbox. You are, however, able to import your own reference materials in terms of DXF or CAD formats or Rhino files and so on. But the whole basis is that you should be up and running and not needing to spend time on getting the proper data, getting the proper foundations for your project. So since this area we're going to explore today is a rather big site, a coastal area, as we mentioned earlier, these new workflows in the AC is shaped to give a more innovative and more pleasant workflow while designing. So it's a combination of automation and manual design. So as we're seeing here, we launched a tool which allows you to do a generative designing in Spacio, where you select your site, you define some properties, some settings on what type of building typologies do we want, or what type of density, and so on. And very easily you can just click and explore these different, let's call them ID sparks, where the platform gives you some sort of configurations and concept of how it can look. You're able to save and store your favorites, and now we're thinking on the other side and also setting some different parameters. So the whole basis of these is that you're, again, coming up with an idea in your head and exploring it if it's viable or feasible for this site. Should be much less frictionless than what we're used to in this traditional maybe way of working. So here the platform is configured so it's a balance between automation, the whole generative aspect, while you have fully manual control of going in, make fine adjustments and fine-tuning your buildings just like this. So you're not tied and bound to just what the platform gives you. You could, for example, just start and manually design everything from scratch. But it's very convenient to just get some sort of foundation or some base to work from. All these proposals, as we said, you can save them as favorites, you can save them as what we refer to as sketches in Spacio, and explore side by side different concepts and alternatives. And we have here ways of, let's just jump back one tiny tad. We have here different ways of how you visualize, and I think we're looking on the inside here of the building where you actually gets generated all the core placements and the proper dimensioning of all building elements, and you can have different display modes and see how you affect the terrain, what type of building categories you have, and so on. Really get to the bare bone of how can we utilize and explore this site in the best way possible. So it's not just about generating and coming up with designs, it's also about validating them towards if it's regulations or if it's towards building performance. So we do offer a set of various simulations in the platform. So in parallel to while you're designing and exploring, you launch analysis tools. For in this case, we have a coastal area, and it would be interesting to see how are the actual view qualities, which apartments or which parts of the facade can actually have good view and a direct contact to the water. So these graphical overviews and data visualizations really gives you a easy overview and see okay, what are the qualities? Could we improve it? And so on. Here we're also launching, looking at the daylight potential for the buildings, where you can filter out the graphics to easily identify the critical areas. And these simulations run automatic and update while you're designing, so you can make these fine-tune adjustments and see how you can improve the design while you're working. So there's no longer need to send off your model to an external software in order to run a simulation. So here you work frictionless side by side while designing and also validating and testing the possibilities of your design. Another part of Spacio is actually to offer, it's not just shoeboxes, it's actual properly dimensioned geometry and fairly highly detailed. So we're saying here from 0 to detailed BIM models in minutes, and what we refer to BIM model is that the elements and all the building blocks that you get in Spacio are properly classified, such as internal walls, external walls, the apertures, and so on. So exporting this project to your dedicated BIM software, later on you can continue working frictionlessly in there. And here we, for example, see and test different roof typologies or roof formations. So if you want to go with pitch roofs or flat roofs and so on. And also looking again on the internal side where everything is highly detailed, highly accurate, and all the metrics in the project is also based on this. The graphical aspect is something that we put a lot of emphasis in Spacio also. So we do want it to be the platform that you can feel proud to present your project to your client in. So there's no need for, on the longer term, we hope to not see the architect being in need of any post-processing or so on. So whether it's diagrams, whether it's screenshots or something that you feel this is actually representing my project in a professional way. So that's why we're trying to put a lot of emphasis on that. Also coming ahead to get these like the whole perspective of scale and graphics and presentability and so on. So I did mention the possibility of working parallel concepts in Spacio. So here we have created 4 different what we refer to as sketches, where you can launch this panel inside and see and compare the metrics. So you can select the current sketch and see, okay, is it underperforming? Do we have any better sketch? Is there any alternative where you get more apartments? Are we hitting the targets that we want in our project and so on? So no longer need to have your file with final version XO final in a folder somewhere. Here you get a big overview of what you're working on in parallel and being able to compare and present the most lucrative alternatives, so to say.